Hello and welcome to episode 31 of the Liberty for Philly podcast. I'm Mitchell, that's Jared, that's Ben, and joining us once again after a prolonged absence, we got Alec again. Say hi, Alec.
Hey guys, what's up? I'm glad to be back. It's been too long.
Yes, and another week of college football has came and gone, and now there's some changes. There's some changes going on, so let's go over them. Let's start with the AP 25 poll as we usually do. And guess who's in number one? Alabama. Probably will stay that way.
I thought it was Alabama State. What are you talking about?
Alabama State Tech University.
South Alabama, West Alabama, Sweet Home Alabama.
And then number two, we got Georgia. And then number three, we have the Ducks of
Too
Oregon.
bad those two aren't playing in the regular season this year, because that would have been an interesting 1-2 match. When I mean interesting, I mean Alabama wins by 34 points.
Yeah, and then Oregon, who played down to the competition in Arizona for about 3.5 quarters, is still in third. And guess who's number four this week?
Michigan, yay!
Penn State's number four.
Good for you, Mitchell.
I know. And coming in,
the inevitable collapse in the two games.
Penn State jumps over Iowa, who stays at fifth after playing down to Colorado State. Then Oklahoma, after embarrassingly playing down to West Virginia, moves down to 6. And then moving up a spot, Cincinnati moves up to 7. Arkansas moves up 8 spots to 8. Notre Dame moves up 3 after destroying Wisconsin in Chicago to 9th. Florida moves up a spots into the top 10.
I would actually say this wasn't more Notre Dame destroying Wisconsin. I would like to say it was more of a close game, and then Wisconsin ended up destroying Wisconsin in the fourth quarter. 2 pick sixes and a kickoff return for a touchdown or whatever it was.
And how the mighty have fallen. We'll get to more of this, but Ohio State moves down to 11th after playing down to the competition in Akron for a quarter and then immediately proceeding to blow them out.
Down, that's just not showing up. Well,
yeah, and then they proceeded to blow them out by more than 50 points, but they still moved down a spot in the rankings.
I see playing down as like 3/4 of struggling, not 1.
Then Ole Miss moves up a spot to 12. BYU moves up 2 to 13. Michigan moves up 5 after playing down to Rutgers to 14th. Texas A&M after who did they lose to? Oh, Arkansas. Yeah, Arkansas.
Texas A&M just lost to Arkansas, yeah.
Yeah, it moves down to 15th. Coastal Carolina, I mean, they just been there. They're at 16th now. Michigan State moves up to 17th. Then after beating Nebraska, Fresno State moves up to 18 after escaping UNLV. Oklahoma State enters the rankings after beating number 25 Kansas State and Will Howard. UCLA moves up 4 spots to 20. Baylor enters the rankings for the first time after beating Iowa State, I'm pretty sure.
Is Iowa State out of the rankings?
Yeah, Iowa State is no longer in the rankings.
I thought they beat Ohio State.
No, Iowa. Ohio State beat Akron.
Yeah,
okay.
Still
then
good.
Auburn moves up a spot, even though they played down to Georgia literally for 3.9 quarters.
Well, Georgia's not exactly playing down.
Georgia State. It was Auburn. There we go. Then NC State, after beating Clemson, moves up to 23rd in the rankings.
Later in the year.
Then Wake Forest, Justin's favorite team, moves up to 24th in the rankings.
Yeah, for no apparent
reason. Rounding up the rankings, 25 is your reigning national? No, not reigning national champions. National champions from 2 years ago. Clemson at 25.
3 season. 2 years ago was LSU.
And last year was Alabama, right?
Yeah. And then rounding out, we got Texas, who did not make the rankings by 7 votes. Maryland, San Diego State, Boston College, SMU, and Kentucky round up your top 30. But now, what are some thoughts you guys have from this past week in college football? Like any standout?
A lot of playing down. I disagree with some of I think Coastal Carolina should be higher than they should be. I know they didn't really play a great game, but Michigan almost blew it with we had a live representative there. Yeah, son of the tree was at that game. Suffered a few heart ailments, but he's okay. A lot of playing. Michigan State also survived with Nebraska losing in Nebraska fashion. Wisconsin and Notre Dame was kind of a disappointment. It was 3 quarters of pretty sloppy football, and then Wisconsin killed themselves in the fourth. This next week should be a lot, other than Texas A&M and Arkansas, a lot sloppy football throughout the. Although I would like to say that Miami did score a nice 69 points in their game, and next week should be a lot more exciting.
Ben, what do you think of this past week in college football?
So before I go into that, I want to tell story time real quick.
Story time with Ben.
Oh boy.
Last night we were at a certain football game because a certain someone was having a band senior night. Shout out to Jared Zeff. The other, me and Mitchell and Watson were there at the game, and while there was an entertaining football game playing in front of us, Mitchell was on his phone watching Clemson, North Carolina State without noticing that was right in front of them. So anyway, you know what? Again, like Jared said, a lot of playing down. I'm shocked by Clemson. I mean, that is like a long stretch of wins without being beaten by an unranked opponent.
Well, that's what happens when you play an anemic team. But Alabama's beaten 100 straight opponents that were unranked.
Wait, what did Mitchell say?
Mitchell was watching the Clemson game when they lost.
Watching the Clemson game.
Yeah. He was at Kottmeyer watching a football game on his phone while a football game was actually.
Let's be real here, Ben. I know both football games were sloppy, but that one was way more entertaining.
Okay, sad. But going back to it, I mean, Boston College is right outside the top 25, but they have had such a weak schedule. I mean, they played Temple, they played Missouri. I mean,
they rushed the field after beating Missouri.
Well, yeah, because it's SEC. Who doesn't love beating an SEC team?
And that Missouri game went to overtime, if I'm correct.
Yeah, Boston College beat.
Oh, they beat UMass too. They beat UMass, Colgate. They beat Temple 28-3, and they just beat Missouri.
All right, so they beat UMass, a toothpaste brand. Then they beat Missouri, and then they beat. Okay, I'm not impressed. So
not in that specific order, but you know who they've got next week? They've got Clemson and their anemic offense at Clemson. Then they've got NC State. Then Louisville, Syracuse. All 3 out of their next 4 games are on the road. The only one being the home is NC State. And then they've got Virginia Tech at Georgia Tech, Florida State, and then Justin's favorite team, Wake Forest.
Justin likes Wake Forest. Shame on.
Do you not remember that whole Wake Forest debacle that I had on the podcast? I think Wake Forest is going to the national championship.
They actually might. They are number 1 in the ACC Coastal.
Yeah.
Right? Really?
Yeah.
That doesn't mean they're going to the national championship. That means they'll go to the Orange Bowl. If that's not a play. Wait, that's a playoff game, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, they won't go to the Orange Bowl then.
It's Orange and
Cotton.
Oh, Cotton. Jerry World. Yeah.
But anyway, without getting too distracted, my point being that Boston College is going to slip away. So are some of these other teams that I'm not impressed by.
Maryland.
Correct.
Yeah, Maryland's not that good. Agreed.
And yet they're getting votes for the top 25. They're like the 27th or 28th, and they're gonna. I mean, I'm pretty sure they're in for a rude awakening next week, if I remember correctly. I think they're playing Michigan. I could be wrong. They're playing Iowa. My bad.
We'll go over the next week's games because that is a very interesting week next week. It's going to be really entertaining. Starting off Friday night, number 5 Iowa plays Maryland in Maryland, which is a very odd game.
We were just talking about Maryland. Maryland's getting votes for the top 25. Oh, and after that Iowa game, they get Ohio State. So yeah, I don't see them getting in. Yeah,
so let's go and predict our next week in top 25 football. Iowa versus Maryland. I really think this will be a close game.
I don't. You're little Tua. He's hopefully looked a little bit better.
Maryland has been good offensively, other than the
Illinois
game.
But they haven't played anybody good, have they?
They played Illinois and West Virginia. They beat West Virginia, and West Virginia almost beat Oklahoma. That means anything.
Iowa ranked number 5, though. I mean, they're a legit team. Why do you think?
Yeah, but it's a classic Iowa team. They're led by their defense. They only scored 24 points against Colorado State
by the Maryland guy a couple weeks ago against Illinois. That was hilarious.
No.
Oh my God! I'll send it to you guys. It's hilarious.
Yeah, but
the other 90%, Mitchell, thinks that Iowa's going to rout this team like they rightfully should. So I'm taking Iowa.
I think it's close, but yeah, I'll just say Iowa wins. I could see.
I don't think it's going to be close at all.
I could see this being a trap game for Iowa because both teams are looking forward to Iowa. I mean, Penn State might look past Indiana. Well, Penn State might look past Indiana to look at their game against Iowa, and Iowa might do the same thing when they play Penn State.
That's a definition of a trap game. Actually, they've got an easier opponent right before one of their biggest games of the year. Yep.
Yeah. And then also in that Friday night slot, we got BYU, Mormon
Utah
versus
State.
Mormon. Yeah, BYU versus Utah State. I got
All right,
BYU.
I just sent you the hilarious
I got
targeting.
BYU too. They're gonna blow them out.
Everybody agree on everybody agree on BYU?
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on. Our first double ranked matchup. Saturday, October 2nd at noon, we got Arkansas versus Georgia. 2 versus 8 at Georgia.
It's
A new
at
game.
Georgia. Georgia's going to win pretty easily.
Georgia should win this
There's
game.
there's no way Arkansas is gonna be able to handle that kind of atmosphere. I mean, I understand that they blew out Texas A&M last week, but
It wasn't a blowout.
Has Georgia
wasn't- oh,
played
wait,
any?
when I was
Well,
watching
I was to say, has
think it was
Georgia
a
played
10-point
anybody?
I
But
mean-
they played Clemson the first week. But
I mean-
judging on how Clemson is now,
Arkansas. Yeah, no, it was only 20-10, Alec. But here's what I'm thinking.
They look like they had it in control the entire time.
Mhm.
I think either way, Georgia's going to win. But if it was at Arkansas, I think it would have been a much closer game. I think Georgia will win by 3 touchdowns or somewhere around that.
I agree. Georgia will win.
Yes, I agree.
All right. Moving on. Unranked Wisconsin takes on number 14 Michigan at Camp Randall. I'm going Wisconsin here.
I'm going to go with Wisconsin as well, just because those two, they've played each other a lot. Like, no matter how good both sides are, whoever's the home team usually wins that game. Michigan, I feel like under Jim Harbaugh, haven't really been doing so hot under road games, like against, good or at least somewhat decent teams. Like, think over the past years, 2016, they lost to Iowa and Ohio State, both on the road. And if you notice with Penn State, they've only beaten them at the Big House. Like, so when they're not playing in front of 110,000 screaming Michigan fans, it's a lot harder for them. So I'm going to go with Wisconsin on this one.
All right, Ben, what do you think?
There's a heart and a brain aspect to this because my heart's saying, look, I want Penn State and Michigan to win all their games. So when I go to whiteout at Penn State,
It's like worth something.
Yeah, it's gonna be like a fire game. Brain, I also say Michigan because I think they'll actually do something at Camp Randall this time.
All right, Alec, what do you think?
I think that Wisconsin one. I can't trust Michigan in big games. They always seem to fall flat. So that's why I'm gonna roll with Wisconsin.
All righty. Moving on. Justin's favorite team in Wake Forest versus Louisville. I'm going Wake Forest here.
Where's the game?
At Wake Forest.
Yeah, Wake Forest.
Wake Forest, easy.
Ben.
Wake Forest.
All right. Now our second ranked matchup of the day. Number 7 Cincinnati versus number 9 Notre Dame at Notre Dame. I'm going to go and say Cincinnati here. I still don't trust Notre Dame. Even though they did beat Wisconsin, I still don't
No, they
beat
didn't.
them. They did beat them.
They did not beat Wisconsin. Wisconsin beat Wisconsin. I really hate to say this, but it's at Notre Dame, so Notre Dame will.
Well, it could be a neutral site. Let me double check on that.
Why would it be a neutral site game?
I don't know. Yeah, it's at Notre Dame.
I mean, it was the game against Wisconsin was already neutral site, so I mean, I think that Notre Dame will win this one pretty handily. Unfortunately,
I say Cincinnati. Ben, what do you say?
What's the game again? I'm sorry.
Notre Dame, Cincinnati.
I'll take Cincinnati. That's an easy one.
And Alec.
Didn't you just?
This is a tough one. This is probably the toughest prediction of the week. I mean, I think overall Cincinnati is a better team than Notre Dame. However, you also have to factor in that they're playing in a Notre Dame type atmosphere, which Big Ten teams don't tend to fare well in away atmospheres like that.
But Cincinnati's not Big Ten, but
No, I'm saying Notre Dame is. Wait, never mind. What am I saying? So what division are they again? They're
independent.
Notre Dame's independent. Cincinnati's in the American.
But they're soon to be Big 12.
Generally, northern teams don't fare well in these big college atmospheres when they're away. Unlike the southern like Auburn's, Alabama's, where they can walk into someone else's state house and win. So that's why I'm gonna go with Notre Dame.
All right, moving on. We got Louisiana Monroe versus Coastal Carolina.
Coastal Carolina.
Coastal Carolina.
Coastal Carolina. All right, moving on. Ohio State versus Rutgers at Rutgers.
Ohio State.
Ohio State.
And Ben will be very happy if Aaron Young gets trucked and repeatedly.
I'm not going to accept or deny that assumption, but I'll say Ohio State.
All right, I'll say Ohio State as well, even though I would like,
we would all like Rutgers to win.
I think most people would, yes.
Mm-hmm. But
Ohio State I thought they lost again last week, didn't they?
No, but they were starting Kyle McCord, the St. Joe's prep guy.
Oh, interesting.
All right. Update on the Padres Braves game. Will Smith is in to try to close the game for the Braves. Bottom of the ninth, Jake Cronenworth has already walked, and Manny Machado is up to bat.
Hopefully he pulls a Luke Williams. But anyway, I have some extremely shocking news about Alabama fans. So game day, not surprisingly, is going to Athens, Georgia, where Arkansas and Georgia will be playing. And of course, Alabama fans are already complaining that it's not going to be their game against Ole Miss because Alabama fans are a whiny bunch of little pieces of diarrhea. So putting it
they'll be there for the whatever game their second big one is. They always go to Auburn at some point. Alabama. Jesus Christ.
They will be going to Alabama at some point, probably, maybe not.
All right. Then our next.
I think the Iron Bowl will probably get it as usual.
Yeah. Then our next piece on the docket.
Wait, didn't Alabama already get it against Miami?
No, it was maybe. I don't know. I don't remember. But while you look that up, it was We got next Oklahoma, Kansas State with Will Howard at Kansas State. We all know what happened last time. Well, Jared, if you remember what happened the last time.
Yes, but Will Howard I don't care. I still think Oklahoma will win.
Yeah.
No, you're right. It wasn't. It was Georgia Clemson. That's what it was that week.
All right. I'm saying Oklahoma as well. Everybody agree on Oklahoma?
Yes.
Wow.
Next up, our second ranked matchup, which Jared already kind of mentioned. Mississippi, Alabama.
This is the first week actually since week one since the true week one that college game day will not be involving a Big Ten team.
Oh, yeah. Well, also, we got Ole Miss, Alabama at Alabama. Alabama. Probably, yeah. Everybody agree on that? Everybody agree. Yeah. Moving on, Oregon at Stanford.
Oregon.
This is going to be a tie. I actually think Stanford will give him a fight, but I do think Oregon.
Manny Machado has walked. Runners on first and second, no outs, and Fernando Tatis is pinch hitting for Jackson Profar.
Why was he not playing today?
I think rest, but just literally no point to him resting anymore.
This team is literally a bunch of losers.
All right. We all agree on Oregon here?
Yeah, yep. I think so.
All right. Louisiana Tech, NC State. Newly ranked NC State. I think they build off the momentum they had versus Clemson and win this game. Everybody agree on?
It depends because you can go either one or two ways. Like you said, one, they build off the momentum that they already have and take that into the next game, or two, they start sniffing themselves and they get too confident and they lose the next, and then they lose a game like this.
Mm-hmm.
But however, I am going to say NC State.
Ben, what say you?
What's the game, sorry?
Louisiana Tech, NC State.
Oh, yeah, NC State.
All right. Jared?
NC State, I guess.
All right. Next game, Florida at Kentucky. I'm going to go Penn State bias here and say Kentucky wins.
Oh my God, what else is new? Mitchell being biased about Penn State when signs clearly point that other things will happen. Who else is surprised besides nobody?
All right.
Walking around right now.
Florida. It's not going to be close. If it is, then Florida sucks and Dan Mullen should be fired, but it shouldn't be close.
Ben? And Alec.
Did you not see that they lost, that they only beat Chattanooga by 5, Mitchell?
They won last week.
5.
Alec, I guess.
5 points. Okay.
Florida as well.
Florida, yes.
All right, moving on. Mississippi State versus Texas A&M. Texas A&M should win this game.
Is it at Kyle Field or is it?
It's at Texas A&M.
Yeah, Texas A&M.
No, last game they didn't.
I agree.
And Tatis strikes out on a bad strike 3 call, and he's very mad about it.
What else is new about, ump ball?
And moving on, Boston College versus number 25 Clemson.
Here. You better be careful. I'm watching the game right now.
Clemson. I think Clemson and their anemic offense will win, 17-14, something like that.
Tatis probably should have swung at that pitch. That was it. It was close, but it wasn't a strike. I get that, but he should have swung that pitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, if Clemson doesn't win, they should put paper bags over their heads.
They should.
Clemson doesn't win, then they have a huge QB problem.
And Alec, what do you think here? Boston College, Clemson.
Clemson, if they lose, and I think they all should walk home.
And then if they do lose next week, then on the podcast we'll spend the first 5 minutes of the podcast pointing and laughing at them.
I would say Boston College only if the game was in Boston. It's at Clemson, therefore I think Clemson will win.
I think either way Clemson would win.
And now another ranked matchup. Two newly ranked teams. We got Baylor and Oklahoma State at Oklahoma State.
It's at Oklahoma State. I feel like I gotta look this up actually. I feel like if I'm remembering correctly, Baylor has struggled at Boone Pickens Stadium, but I could be wrong.
I'm going to say Oklahoma State because they look the better of the two teams. In my opinion.
Oklahoma State, yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, Oklahoma State.
Ben?
Better, yeah.
I'm just gonna take the home team here. I mean, it's pretty rough in Stillwater. So I'll take Oklahoma.
And
I think Oklahoma State will win because again, Boone Pickens, unless if you're Oklahoma, is a really tough place to play.
By the way, Oklahoma State has some of the best golfers in the country.
They do. Don't they have the one guy who's really good?
Well, they have multiple. They have Ricky Fowler.
The alumni. Yeah, where that's the guy was.
Victor Hovland, who was just in the Ryder Cup, and Matthew Wolf.
Update. Tommy Fan has walked. Bases loaded. 1 out.
Jeez. Wait, what's the score right now?
4-3.
4-3. Let's see. Oh no, actually Baylor did win in 2019 at Boone Pickens. Right? Right.
So Jared, who do you think wins, Baylor or Oklahoma State?
I still think Oklahoma State will win. Oh no, yeah, it was 2017 that I was thinking of where they won 59-16. Yeah, that was the blowout year, not 2019. But
alrighty.
Oklahoma State will win.
And because every single other network picked up every other game on the docket, Indiana Penn State has Kirk Herbstreit back at Beaver Stadium after a week absence, and at 7:30 it will be Indiana versus
Chris Rose is going to be there. Or damn it, I keep doing that. Chris Fowler's going to be there too.
Yes, it's the normal Saturday night football people.
Cool. They really should be. I thought the SEC was on ESPN, not CBS.
Alabama Ole Miss is on CBS.
Yeah, I know. I thought you said they dropped it though. But
no, they only do certain games. They don't do more than one a week, I think.
That's usually what they do anyway, I feel like. Mm-hmm. So does that mean Brad Nessler is still going to be on is going to be the broadcaster there?
Maybe. I haven't watched an SEC game yet this year, so I'm going to say Penn State here. I think they're still
you have. But you watched the Auburn game. But I think Penn State will win the rematch of it'll be now the first annual PTSD Bowl.
So I was going to say that Penn State's probably going to be very angry at Indiana for how they lost last year. I still don't think that call was a touchdown. And I think everybody else who was watching the dumb replay would have saw that the ball did not, cross the plane. Anyways,
no, it hit the pylon.
But it was on the outside of the pylon.
No, it doesn't matter, Mitchell. If you hit the pylon, you hit the pylon. It's a touchdown.
It did. All right. Ben, who do you think wins?
So this will be my last take for the night. Unfortunately, I have my new show coming up at 8:00 Eastern from me.
Ooh, throw tomatoes at him. Just kidding.
No, but it's great being with you boys. I am going to go with We Are Mediocre.
Okay, wait, Ben, real quick before you go, speed run. Auburn at LSU at LSU.
Auburn, LSU. Auburn. I'm sorry.
Arizona State, UCLA at UCLA.
UCLA.
And Fresno State at Hawaii.
Arizona State at Hawaii.
Fresno State, they're right.
Hawaii's been terrible.
Oh, I thought you said Arizona State. Fresno.
All right. Well, thank you for Ben joining us today, and we will go show his support to him after our show is over. So, Ben, good luck and enjoy the game.
Thank you so much. See you, boys.
See ya. All right. Moving on here. Now for you guys, who wins?
right?
Oh, I missed over a game, but I think you would have said who was going to win this game anyways. Western Kentucky, Michigan State.
Oh, that game, Michigan State will definitely win.
Yeah, Alec, Michigan State.
Michigan State, yeah, it's not hard. That's hard.
All right, Auburn, LSU at Death Valley.
It's the Tiger Bowl.
I'm gonna go LSU here.
So Auburn looks like the better team so far. LSU, I feel like, here's what I'm thinking. If LSU loses this game, then definitely it's officially Ed Orgeron is officially Gene Chizik. No, but I think usually LSU wins games at this series. Like the home team usually wins like this series. When was the last time that the road team has? Actually, I think if I remember,
it's probably Joe Burrow, to be honest.
No, the road team. No, that year it was at LSU. Yes, it was.
Right.
Actually, 2018. You're right. They did win at Auburn. It was 22-21. But yeah, usually the road team, the home team.
And Trent Grisham strikes out. Is now 2 outs for the Padres with bases loaded.
Awful. My God. How can they?
Oh, this ump is awful. That was literally not a strike.
But I definitely think that Auburn has not won in Baton Rouge.
That's the pitch you got. You got to swing at that pitch, though. I mean, you got to protect the plate.
Wow. The last time Auburn has won a game at Baton Rouge was 1999. I think that trend continues and LSU wins.
All right, moving on. Arizona State, UCLA. I say UCLA. Everybody agree?
Where is it?
At Rose Bowl.
UCLA.
Yeah, let's go with the Chip Kelly team.
I think Chip Kelly will unfortunately win this one.
And then now we got Fresno State, Hawaii. I say Fresno State.
Fresno State.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, that concludes our talk about college football for this episode. Now let's talk about, before we get into Alec making his NFL predictions, let's move into the conversation of the Phillies. Phillies at the moment are 1.5 games. No, they're 2 games back of the Braves right now.
Oh God, they got obliterated today.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about that. But
they won the first 3 though.
Yes, they won the first 3. However, they did need to win those 2 games because this would be a completely different story. Hopefully whatever this guy's name, Kim, walks here in a run and the game extends.
The Brewers finally clinched the division, I see.
Doesn't matter if he walks or not, just get on base.
Without people getting
the Rays finally clinched, the White Sox finally clinched. So it's just the AL West and the NL West that need to, and the NL East that need to be.
I was to say, you forgot a division there.
White Sox clinched a while ago.
But
yeah, I know that.
So if you think about it, the Phillies should be fine getting 2 out of 3 in this series. Here's why.
Wait, which series?
The Braves series that's coming up. They hopefully should get 2 out of 3.
Hopefully.
If they get 2 out of 3,
I don't know what you're talking
if they get
about.
2, well, I don't think Aaron Nola or Kyle Gibson. One of them's going to fail, or the offense is not going to show up for a game. And
now watch it be Zach Wheeler that fails instead of the other 2.
Whatever. I mean, the win's the win, to be honest. I don't care.
I want them to sweep. I think they're only going to win 1 at most.
But if the Phillies go 2 and 3 in this next series, that means, so if there are 2.5 games back, so that would mean that it would be half game, and then it would be at 1.5 games. That means the Braves would need to go 2 and 3 against the Mets. And I think that's possible, especially if DeGrom and Thor pitching for the Mets, which is heavily rumored right now that they would pitch their final 2 games along with Marcus Stroman. So,
okay.
I think the Phillies, what would be epic is to be up by a half game going to Miami, because you know how we play against Miami.
I would like to be up as many games as possible against Miami. Obviously,
Braves are playing they're playing the Mets this weekend, right?
Yes, they're playing the Mets.
Okay, they'll probably lose a game there, but just because the Mets will tend to do well when it doesn't matter.
Well, let's see what goes on here. It's a 2-2 count here for Kim. And depending on the outcome of the Padres game, the Phillies could either be back to 1.5 games, or they can be 2.5 games.
Only 2.5 back.
And foul tip caught for a strike, and Atlanta wins while loading the bases up. And the San Diego Padres are officially trash. So it's now officially 2.5 games back.
2.5.
Will Smith is trash, though. The Phillies will get to him.
But yeah, Atlanta is not a good. The Phillies have been good against Atlanta. People seem to forget that. The last time the Phillies played Atlanta, do you guys need to remind yourselves of Hector Neris
the pass means nothing, Mitchell. I don't know how many times
Hector Neris blew a 4-run lead in the 9th inning the last time these two teams played.
No, Atlanta did, or the Phillies?
That was a 2-run lead.
It was a 2-run lead?
It was De Los Santos who blew the 4-run lead.
Mitchell, you know what I have to say? The pass means nothing. You always seem to forget this. And every time you forget about the past, it ends up, not going your way. So
why can't I see the previous games against the Braves? This is very dumb.
Yeah, you might want to just look up the entire friggin' season.
I mean, usually on Google, you can just Google Phillies versus Braves, and it shows up everything.
Just do the Phillies. Like, that's...
All right, Phillies.
But wait. Maybe we should... I feel like an entire, group of Phillies fans should just go down, and then they should just hold signs and say a Bohm was still safe.
Well,
that would be hilarious.
It looks like my Wi-Fi is just deciding to not work right now, and none of your face is moving.
They'll lose the first game, and then if they lose one of these games, it's over.
Well, I would say it's least likely. However,
but
they would still be fine.
Mathematically, they'd be fine, but realistically, they can't lose a game.
The Alec gets it.
Right now, it's 6 games is the magic number for the Braves. So if the Phillies lose a total of whatever games, so right now, if the Phillies are swept in Atlanta, that is magic number because that would be 6 in total because that would be 6 Phillies losses and 3 Phillies losses and 3 Braves wins, totaling 6. I'm pretty sure, right? Yeah,
right.
I think so. I mean, the thing is, you couldn't lose that game against the Pirates. You couldn't, at least in that way. It's not the loss at so many. They couldn't score any runs against a guy who had a 7-point-something ERA coming into this game.
Yeah, that's the Phillies for you.
Yeah. So far this year, the Phillies swept the Braves in the first 3 games by a score of 3-2, 4-0, and 2-1. And then they played them in Atlanta. They lost 1-8. They lost 4-5.
Mitchell, you don't know how to read scoreboards, do you? Higher number first.
And then they beat on Alec Bohm's toe 7-6. So that would make the record 4-2.
We gotta spam that image again. You lost to 1/20th of Alec Bohm's shoe.
And then they played Atlanta in Atlanta again. The first game they won 12-2. I forgot about that.
I forgot about that game too.
And then we oh, that's right. And then the second game of the series we blew it. We lost 8-7. Then we lost the last game.
We can't stop Pablo Sandoval no matter how crappy he is.
And then we lost the last game 6-1. And then we didn't play them again until June when we lost 5-9. And then we won the last 2 games of the series 2-1 and 4-3.
Last I checked, it was still pronounced 9-5.
I don't think Sandoval is even on the team anymore.
No, he's out of the league right now.
Thank God.
And then we played them.
They would go grab him out of retirement.
And then we played it again. And we lost 2-7 the first game. We won the second game 5-1, and then lost the third game 15-3. Then we won the last game 2-1.
15-3.
And then we haven't played them since. So, yeah.
When was the last time we played them? It was July.
The last time we played them was July 20. Last time we played them was
it was late July
22nd to July 25th. We basically started the series at 47 and 48, and we came out of the series at 49 and 49.
Remember it feels like when this happened, it was so long ago. It feels like an eternity ago, but it was. Remember when they kept on going at 500? It was 1-1, 2-2, 3-3, 4-4, and all that.
Yeah.
Apparently, the Urinatory has already congratulated the Padres on their offseason.
Yep, I sent you that one.
Oh.
Yeah, the offseason champions. Am I right?
Yeah.
I still can't believe the Padres actually did what they did. I mean, they are an awful team.
Yep. They're 2015 on steroids.
They're 2018. They're the 2019 Phillies, I'd say. A lot of flashy players, a lot of supposedly really good
Padres franchise-wise, they're 2015.
Stretch. They're not their thing is you can compare them to the 2018 Phillies, but the thing is, the 2018 Phillies, they weren't expected to be that good. This team this year was supposed to be good.
Well, no, that was the thing about 2015. The Padres in 2015, they were the champions of the offseason, and they completely disappointed their expectations, just like here.
So if we go through the different Phillies games versus the Braves throughout the year, so obviously we started with Wheeler. No, we started with Nola, then we started with Wheeler, and then who won the last game? Jose Alvarado won it, but who pitched the beginning of it?
It was it wasn't
Zach Eflin. Then the first game in Atlanta, we lost because Zach Wheeler blew up in the fifth. Ronald Acuna destroyed us. Yeah.
Well, he won't be a problem.
Yeah. Then in the last game, Archie Bradley blew it in the seventh because it was Jose Alvarado forgot how to throw a baseball, and Freddie Freeman got a single out of it. Who started that game?
Sounds like something that would happen when Nola was starting. If I were the Phillies, they really need to they're going to get a lot of money this offseason just because they won't have David Hale on the books. They won't have Vince Velasquez on the books. They won't have McCutchen.
Oh, wait, didn't the Padres pick him up at one point?
Yeah, Padres, Vince Velasquez is on their team.
I think we paid both him and Hale $8 million in total this year.
Jeez.
Oh, that's right.
Chase Anderson a total like little over $7 million.
I'm pretty sure Aaron Nola's last start against the Braves, he threw a complete game.
No. It was 8 2/3 because the very last at bat.
Oh yeah, Ranger Suarez got it. Yeah. Yeah, then Ranger Suarez came in. So Aaron Nola, his last start did great against the Phillies. Who was the opposing pitcher? Oh, it was Touki
against
Toussaint.
The Phillies.
It wasn't Anderson or something.
I think
no, it was Touki Toussaint.
Oh, Toussaint. Ever since then, he hasn't been that good, right?
And then the 15-3 game was Vince Velasquez. We don't have to deal with him anymore. Then the 5-1 game was Zach Wheeler. And then the other game was Matt Moore. Literally 2 of those 4 pitchers are not even on the team anymore.
Matt Moore's not on the team anymore?
Matt Moore is on the 60-day IL.
So he's coming to Philly pretty much. And
I don't want to wish injury on anybody, but it's a good thing.
Actually, let me calculate this out. How much money are the Phillies going to have this offseason?
I can look on Sports Track.
Yeah.
So after this last comment on the Phillies, we'll move on to Alex's predictions for the NFL season. But I can tell you, so right now with we have arbitration, obviously. That still has to be calculated. But for the Phillies in general, we will have that's 2021 payroll. We need 2022 payroll update. So basically, we need to get rid of Andrew McCutcheons. Will decline his salary, because with his salary, that will be $15 extra million.
I feel like he's still been hurt. He's hurt.
No, he is. He just hasn't been noticeable. So right now, prior to arbitration and anything else, the Phillies would have $100,515,385 to spend.
Wait, repeat that.
$100,515,385.
Wait, do they have room for?
Yes. That means how much is on the books. So they would have technically that would be their tax base. They would have basically 100 million.
Okay, so they'll probably have to pay. They're gonna have to give Hoskins. He'll be going through arbitration, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, so there's a salary cap now?
No, well, it's the Phillies. There is, but
Yeah, if Middleton would just pay up, they wouldn't have a problem.
Yeah.
So Jose Alvarado is in arbitration. Connor Brogdon, Sam Coonrod are prior to arbitration. Zach Eflin's in arb. Reese is in arb. Will not sign Andrew Knapp probably again. Roman Quinn's is in arbitration, but we probably won't resign him. Jojo Romero's pre-arbitration. Ranger Suarez is pre-arbitration, and Ronald Torres is arbitration. And then we have $4 million on the books because of Scott Kingery.
We still have to pay him?
Yep.
Oh,
is he even with the inner system still?
Yes, he's in AAA.
He's hurt though.
Yeah, he had shoulder surgery. All right, so now that leads us into our last topic of the day.
Whatever happened to Nick Mayton anyways? Like he was good and then
He just got sent down back to AAA.
he stopped playing. That
just
was
a
one
vibe.
of our biggest mistakes this year.
I mean, Ronald Torres. I mean, there's not room for another infielder on this team, though.
Yeah, Torres is he's okay. He was good for some point at some points, but then he's not a long term player.
Mm.
Maybe Hans Kraus can do something. He looked decent today.
Mm-hmm. So Alec, what do you think is going to go on in the AFC North? This isn't updated, by the way, so don't look at that.
Oh, okay.
This isn't updated.
I'll say I'll actually go with Browns overall first.
Browns, all right. Well, that's not right, but so Browns. What's your number 2?
Steelers
over the Ravens. Interesting.
Yeah, I don't like something about the Ravens here. This year just kind of.
And then Ravens, and then Bungles.
Yep.
The Bungles. You should change Jets to LOL Jets, by the way.
Didn't the Steelers lose to the Bungles today or something?
Yes, they did.
Yes, they did.
All right, next up, we got the AFC East. Do you think it's going to be agreed with like everybody else except me? I had the Patriots over Miami.
Yeah, I'm actually going with Patriots over Miami. Yes.
All right.
But why?
Tua is now hurt again. Also, I don't think.
Oh, that's true. But Mac Jones hasn't looked great.
Yeah, but still, I think that I just don't like Tua as a quarterback overall. I think that he doesn't look like he can be a good starter. He's just from what I've seen so far.
All right, next up, AFC South.
AFC South. All right, let's go with I'll go with the Titans first, actually.
Titans, all right. Do you agree with all of us so far with Texans, Colts, Jaguars, Texans?
You said Texans close there, pal.
Actually, not. Yeah, I gotta go with that.
Mitchell and speaking English. Two things that don't go together that well.
The Colts so far have looked pretty bad. They lost to Seahawks and Rams at home, and they lost to the Titans in Tennessee. I'm not sure how much of it's actually Wentz's fault, though.
When Carson Wentz behind an underperforming line, it's almost like he never left Philadelphia.
Or whether it's just that he makes his lines look bad because he holds onto the ball too long.
And then
that's one thing.
That's the thing. But he makes his lines behind him don't do that well because he hangs on to the ball too long. He doesn't.
No, but like even then, he's still getting rushed. I feel like. I mean, yeah, he's got to learn to get rid of it quicker. But
yeah, exactly.
So, what do you think is going to go on in the AFC West with the Chiefs in last place?
Chiefs are in last place.
Yep. Broncos undefeated, Raiders undefeated, Chargers are 2-1, and the Chiefs are 1-2.
Yeah, the Chargers just beat the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mitchell, just fix it. You just said the Chiefs are in last, and you're not fixing it.
I'm gonna go with the You know what? I'll go with the Chiefs first. Then I'm gonna actually go with the Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
Then the Chargers and the Broncos.
All right, so you're agreeing with Jared. All right, so then who is your number 1 seed here in the playoffs?
It's weird because you don't know what's going. It seems like everyone's performing below expectations and I don't know what they'll be doing. And I'm actually going to go with the Buffalo Bills with the first seed.
Isn't Buffalo 2-1 now, or they're 2-1.
Yeah.
So Bills. All right. Who's 2?
Steelers.
Chiefs.
And 3.
Wow.
And 3, I'll go with the Titans.
And then the Browns are your 4 seed?
Yes, sir.
And then who's your 3 wildcard teams?
I'll go with the Steelers as 1.
Steelers as 1. All right. Let me do this very quick so it's like has the formatting. All right. And then wildcard 2.
Wildcard 2. I'm gonna go with the Raiders.
The Raiders, and who's your last one?
Chargers.
And the Chargers. All right.
I don't even think the
And who out of all of that? So you would have Steelers versus the Browns. Who do we think wins that rematch?
Steelers or I think Steelers won that rematch actually.
All right, then you have Raiders Titans,
I'll go with Titans.
and then Chiefs versus the Chargers.
Chiefs versus the Chargers at Chiefs.
All right, so then you have Steelers Bills.
Steelers, Bills.
And then you have Titans versus the Bills.
The Titans versus the Bills. I thought you said Steelers just.
My bad. Titans Chiefs.
Chiefs.
And then Chiefs Bills.
Bills actually.
The Bills go to the Super Bowl. All right. Now moving on to the
wow.
Now moving on to the NFC. Who's your NFC North champion?
That's a pretty bad division, not gonna lie.
Do you just want to agree with all of us saying Packers?
I'll say Packers because I think they're pretty bad this year too. But the thing is that
it's the weak
division. One of those teams are worse.
It's not going to be the NFC East kind of weak, but it's going to be weak.
It could be.
So then, who wins the NFC East this year?
I'll show the Eagles.
Yay!
We got some bias going on. It's not.
I actually wasn't that biased. I had the Eagles making the playoffs as a wild card.
That is.
And I'm gonna have the Cowboys second.
Cowgirls, got it.
Mitchell, don't be racist like that.
Then you're gonna do that, and then I assume that, right?
Yep.
All right, NFC South. Tom Brady just lost, by the way, to Matthew Stafford. But other than that,
I'm gonna say Tampa. I'm gonna say actually, well, let's say Tampa Bay first.
All right, then Saints.
Yep.
Or Panthers. Panthers are undefeated.
They lost a few people, so I'm just gonna go with I'll go with the Saints over them.
All right, and then the NFC West.
You know what? I'm gonna go on a limb here and say the 49ers.
Wow, even though half their team is dead, sure.
Again?
Yeah, they don't have any running backs.
They're doing well this year though. Where are they now? 2-1, 3-0.
Are they undefeated? Yeah, I think they're undefeated, unless they lost today.
I
49ers score. They're playing on Sunday Night Football, and they are 2-1.
Oh wait, who they lose to?
They lost week 2, didn't they?
No, they beat us. They beat the Eagles week.
Yeah.
Is it week 3 today then?
No, yeah, it's so they should be 1-1 or no, they're 2-0.
No, they're 2-0. Yeah, they're 2-0. My bad.
So they're playing tonight against the Packers.
So you think Rams are 2 then?
Yep.
And then Seattle, and then Arizona. So then, who's your number 1 seed here?
Yeah, this is really bad. Yeah, this is brutal, actually. Jeez. I'll go with the Buccaneers first. Why not?
All right, and number 2 seed.
Number 2 seed, I'll go with My God, this division's off. My God, these divisions are awful. I'll go with the Niners.
All right. And 3 seed. So it's either the Eagles or the Packers.
Packers.
And then Eagles are your 4 seed.
Correcto.
And then who's your wild card 1? The Rams, I assume.
Yeah, I'll go on Rams.
La Rams.
And then are you going to go Seattle Saints or Cowboys or Vikings?
Seattle Saints. I'll go Seattle.
And then who's your last wild card?
And then let's see. Saints.
So whoa, okay, what the heck happened there? I assume they had that as well. No? What team used to be there? You guys know?
Just hit on do.
Oh yeah, true. That was Seattle. And then who did you have here as your wild card 3?
Saints.
All right. And then who wins? So first off, you have the 49ers versus the Saints.
My God, this division is awful.
Conference.
This is bad. It's gonna be Tampa Bay, but man, this is not good. The NFC really isn't that good this year.
So it would be Eagles versus the Rams in Philly.
I'll go with the Eagles.
Really? Okay. And then Packers versus the Seahawks.
Packers versus the Seahawks. I'll go with the Seahawks.
And then Rams versus the 49ers.
I'm gonna go with the Niners on that.
All right. And then, but
Tampa
you just Tampa Bay. Yeah, okay. That's what I thought. So who wins, Tampa Bay or the Bills?
The Bills.
Buffalo. All right. I had the Browns Rams in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, so
I had the Chiefs and Bucks again, I think.
There's a lot of underwhelming teams this year, which is why it's really hard to predict who will actually do what this year. This is different from previous years where we kind of knew who was going where. This year, I don't think you're going to have that. And throw an extra game with that too. Factors.
Yeah. So, what are our final thoughts from episode 31? Jerry, let's start with you.
Very underwhelming week of football in general, actually minus the NFL, because I haven't really paid too much attention to that today due to a lot of work. But hopefully it'll be more exciting next week. And hope the Phillies win the division, win the NL East. It probably won't happen, but Mitchell is still extremely biased. But what else is new? I will.
Oddly enough, our last podcast, next week's podcast will probably be recorded on Saturday, the day before the last day of the season.
So. No, it won't.
Why?
I have a competition.
Lucky Jared and his band.
Oh wait, that was just for essentially.
No. Are you like completely out all day on Sunday? Because
no, I could do Sunday.
Go right ahead and record on Sunday.
Yeah, we could do Sunday.
I think I can do Sunday. Well, wait, it have to be early. Have to be probably pretty early in the morning because I got a wedding to go to.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. But there will be a podcast next weekend, and hopefully we're talking about how the Phillies will fare against the Brewers in the NLDS. Alec,
hopefully.
Alec, what is your predictions
for the Phillies?
Or just anything in general?
I think the Phillies will lose 2 of 3 to the Braves. I agree with Jared saying it was a very underwhelming week of football in general. And I'm very glad that East lost. No offense, Jared.
I don't care. They really needed this loss, considering the student section. But yeah, they really needed this loss.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. And then let's see. And then again, great to be back on here after a while. I've been really busy lately. After November 1st, I'll be back on here a lot more.
All right.
And my final thought is hopefully Penn State doesn't overlook Indiana. I hope they blow them out after last year. They really need to get their anger out versus them. Yep. Yeah. I hope Iowa chokes against
It's not Maryland. It won't be a choke. It'll just be an embarrassing loss. I don't think. But
it won't matter. It would actually be better if Iowa wins because it would be a better win on a resume.
Oh wait, they're in the West. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. But I just hope it's a good week of college football coming up this weekend. Other than that, hopefully the Phillies do well. We will we'll hopefully be holding an emergency podcast, but also stay tuned.
Emergency podcast?
I don't know. This is something I was thinking. But 2 weeks from now, after the conclusion of the season, we will have everybody back for. Actually, no. Next week we are going to be checking in next Sunday with Alex Carr, Philly Sports Reports. Everybody's going to be coming back onto the podcast. Maybe not Alex Carr, I have to confirm him, but we are going to be looking back at our season predictions and finding out who's in first place in our predictions and also making predictions for the postseason. And yes, Jared, next Sunday.
Wow. Oh, and it's going to be exciting. I definitely think.
Yeah. So Jared, can you please not have anything going on and so we can record it at like 6, not like 7.
Oh no, but usually it goes on when we're eating dinner. So parents
Eat food at midnight. Okay. Anyways, this has been episode 31 of the Liberty for Philly podcast. Make sure you hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, as there is a new podcast every Sunday. Thank you guys for listening. See you guys next time.